It's time for Q&A in the Kitchen. It's the podcast and YouTube series where tattoo artists in Piercer talk about some of the more common questions that viewers and those that collect tattoos, piercings, and other body modifications may have. Brought to you in part by Skin Kitchen Tattoo, the Axiom Body Piercing Studio, and Death Before Decaf. Today's panel is the usual crew, the usual subjects or suspects, depending on who you're talking to. We've got Jack Lowe, tattoo artist of the Skin Kitchen.
Hello.
Wesley Dickerson, also tattoo artist of the Skin Kitchen.
How are you guys?
Jimmy St. John also does tattooing at Skin Kitchen. And I'm DaVo. I do body piercing and own and operate the Axiom Body Piercing Studio. So today we're going to continue with viewer-suggested topics or questions. We already did have a winner on the last one. If you didn't watch that, go back and do that. She did get her hoodie, and she was too bashful to be shown everywhere. So she took a photo of her husband in it, and we're going to post that there for you.
Looking dashing.
Yes, looking very, very handsome in his pink hoodie.
And how could he not in the Skin Kitchen walk-aware?
Yes. It's the Axiom one, the handcrafted one.
Yes.
And we applaud him for being man enough to wear pink.
Right? Hey, it's 2020.
Yes.
Which kind of dawned on me the other day that, I'm tattooing people that were born after 2000.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to ask you, this is totally off topic, but
Okay.
I have to ask this, Wesley, real quick. When you tattooed those two big chrysanthemums, I think they were, and that date, what was the date?
81. It was his mom's birthday.
1981.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was talking to Amanda at home, and I was talking about that, and it made me feel so freaking old because I saw the date and I thought, oh, it was like his birthday. And then he's like, no, that's my mom's birthday. And I'm like, what the hell?
Yep.
And when I was telling Amanda that, I could have swore it was 1990 something, so
Yeah.
it was even more freaking me out. But 81 is a little better.
I'm
Anyway.
already starting to do the grandkids of like the first generation of people that I pierced back in the early 90s.
That'll
so,
be
yeah.
coming, yeah. So
It's
true.
odd.
Yeah. Anyways.
So we decided on what are some of the reasons clients get turned away for tattoo projects, and we can talk about piercing too.
Yeah.
Have you guys turned anyone away, and why?
Who do you want to start with?
Yeah.
Oh, who wants to start?
Well, I guess real quick off the bat, it's pretty obvious for most artists that racial things and things of hate are usually ones that are quickly turned away.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So that's pretty
And
easy to know those ones.
And the
down for
caveat
sure.
with that, too, is to think about is, and that's not that we necessarily are judging you, because we're in the business of that's
It's
like
more,
the last thing we want to do.
I'm more worried about other people judging me based on the reputation of doing that.
Right. So, so if you go out and you get your, I love Nissans and someone is just completely offended that you would like Nissans and they go, well, who did your tattoo? And they go, well, Wesley did a Skin Kitchen. And then they're going to obviously think, well, he likes it too. Or he wouldn't have done it, right?
Yeah, right.
Well, that's not necessarily true, but it kind of has to be true now in a way because, it is going to fall back on us to a certain degree because we did it.
Right.
So that's
It's being complicit.
Yeah.
yeah, there you go.
It really is.
Yeah, it's allowing that to, prolificate.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's a good
That's
quick
a good
kind of
one.
off the
Okay,
bat.
another-
But outside those things,
Would you guys be uncomfortable with gang signs?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at least around here that doesn't really happen. It did way back like early-ish 90s or so, late 90s, I guess. I remember a certain gang kind of coming in and out of the shop I was in, and they would get some gang stuff, and it was a different time back then. But they usually have their own guy.
Yeah.
Especially now. Back then it was a little harder to get the stuff.
Right.
You couldn't just go anywhere and get it. So, but now they have their guy and they go to.
Yeah,
So
they do
rarely
stuff.
does anybody come in and really ask for anything too off the wall in that regard, unless they are just this lone wolf guy that nobody likes and they're looking for another reason to make everybody hate them.
Yeah.
But they usually have kind of their own thing. So we don't get approached with that often. But if
Okay.
we are, then I just tell them kind of that same thing. Like, it's not that I'm judging it and thinks it's bad, but it's putting my name on it and being
you don't want
complicit
people
in
thinking
it.
that,
So then
that
people are
agree
going
to
to
go along with it. Exactly.
Yeah, then they're
How did our question specifically? What tattoos do we turn away?
no, why
would somebody
turn
get
away
to
some
it?
projects?
No,
and stuff?
I mean,
and then they got the old school, drunks,
Sure.
intoxicated,
Yep.
not right state of mind, or
Right.
some stuff like that.
I have in the past, and I still try to steer clear of doing first-time tattoos on hands and faces and necks and things like that. The real, hardcore tattoo areas. That's your first tattoo.
It's not a great idea.
Yeah, I try to steer clear of it. Now, if I can look at you and think your whole life's probably fucked anyways, whatever, maybe.
Right.
But
yeah, no, that
if you're 55 years old, 60 years old, and
Yeah.
coming in for your first tattoo, and you want to do a neck plaster, fuck it, whatever.
yeah.
You know?
You're
Well,
established.
I had
Yeah,
that
exactly.
conversation a lot more back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was just way less common. Now that they've gotten more common and more accepted, you could
It's
say
not as big a deal, really.
that
Yeah.
now it's so common for an 18-year-old to come in on for a consult and talk about a sleeve.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so common now.
Yep.
So, and back in the day, if a kid came in and wanted even something small, anywhere below their
Even
Elbow.
t-shirt
Their
sleeves
elbow,
where, yeah,
I'd
they're
be
kind of
like,
on,
wait a minute.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yep.
This is going to be hard. But now,
So I will say,
Yeah.
the curtain's pulled
Lot
back a
less.
lot more, necks, hands, and faces are kind of the ones that.
Yeah.
That's where I'm like,
still
if
a
you
little
got the
hardcore.
money and I'm broke for the week, maybe I'll say yeah or something.
You
But
know-
really,
We did a video on hands and
Yep.
faces,
Right.
and a lot of the comments have been backlashing against it. Like, oh, how dare you tell people they can't do that?
I
I don't
the
tell 'em
reason
they
why,
can't. Yeah.
and
I
there's a
just
lot of them.
suggest I don't,
A couple of posts are like, oh, I have a job in sales and blah blah blah, and I make $80
we're
million
just trying
dollars
to
a
keep
year. and
keep your mind open for the
and it's
possibility
like-
that jobs are going to shoot you down.
It's
Not saying
like-
they will.
yeah, but right now it is fashionable.
yeah.
It is.
And with fashion, it changes very rapidly. So 20 years from now, 10 years from now, that may not be the case.
Yeah, it
that
might
everybody's
sway
running
back.
But
around.
the cool thing with tattoos and being fashionable is you can't throw them away or they don't wear out like a pair of jeans.
Yeah.
So, and everybody that has one that was in that fashion aren't going to
Yep.
be convincing everybody and themselves that they're out of
Absolutely.
fashion.
And we should
But-
probably explain like the tattoo history end of it, which was you didn't get anything visible done until you'd covered pretty much everything else except your genitalia and your butt.
Yeah. Well,
And then they would let you.
right. Well, let me get this out before I forget because
Okay.
it's perfect in line with what's going on. I just tattooed Amanda. A little dainty kind of piece on her forearm that kind of drizzles down just onto her hand
Geometric
and
and-
onto her thumb.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
Just a little floral kind of leafy thing. And when we got done with it, I said something about, you got now you're in for real. You got the job stopper,
Yep.
And she just kind of looked at me like, what? And I'm like, well, it's on your hand. You can't cover it now. I mean, unless you're wearing some gloves to the ball, you're tattooed no matter what situation you're in now. And she's like, oh, like, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
never
never
occurred to
crossed her
her
mind.
that she's got her freaking hand tattooed now.
Yep.
Now, that partially is a testament to her generation. She's 10 years younger than me,
Yeah.
so grew up a little bit after me, so maybe to her that's not a big deal. So anybody that's even younger than her, it's going to be even less of a deal. Maybe it's showing that just the
Yeah.
mental block that's been put on tattooing is starting to loosen,
Yeah.
where it's not even that big of a deal
Yeah.
anymore. Or it means that people aren't freaking thinking. They're seeing all this stuff on Pinterest, and like you say a lot of times about these crazy piercings, you're seeing the same tattooed group in an area over and over again that have all this stuff on their face and their hands and everything else, and it makes it look like, well, geez, everybody's doing it. That's not a big deal at all. Then you go into the shop, you get your face or your hands or your neck or something done, and you're like, why are
Nobody
things
else doing
changing
this?
a little
Yeah.
bit? So
Why-
I don't know. It could be a bit of both. I imagine it is a bit of both. Not only are things loosening up, but people just are seeing it so often on the internet
Yep.
and everything else that they're just not really putting that weight in it that we did growing up, because only criminals and bad people or
Yeah, head, face,
or
and neck
and on the total flip side of that, sailors or people who are defending the
Right.
Yeah.
the US which is a weird scope. But anyway, all that stuff in the middle now has been filled in.
Yeah.
So it's becoming a little more watered down. But I thought that went right along with it because to me, I'm like, okay, she knows what's up. She's made this decision. She's a professional woman who works in a professional place, an office, and everything else. And I'm thinking, okay, she's a grown up. I'm not gonna. And then after we're done, she's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, and I said the same thing when you guys came over to the house, right after you did it. And I was like, oh, cool. So you got the job stopper. Welcome in. And she kind of looked at Jack like, you just said that. And I'm like, well, we're old tattooers. And back in our day, like, like if you were in nursing school and you got a visible tattoo, like they would throw you out in the 90s and the early 2000s, But I'm glad it's changed. But,
me too. Yeah.
But yeah, you just wanted to recommend against people doing it, to let them know. You just trying to inform them, man.
And
it's I'm not just here to take your money and put something on you.
Right.
I care about what I'm putting on you, and I'm concerned for you. I don't want you to lose a good job or get in trouble or cause some problems.
And there are those times that it might be 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 50 that a person goes, you know what, you're right. I am going to think about it.
Yeah.
So that that kind of legitimizes it to us to go, okay, it is worth mentioning this because it has kind of made people stop and think, and then maybe they do come back and go, you know what, I'm going to move it down a little bit onto my chest, or they go, I'm going to go ahead and get it on my neck. Like, all right, cool, you slept on it or whatever.
But it's part of your ethical responsibility to at least mention it.
And that's the gray area because I don't want to step on your toes and say that I'm only going to, I'm going to make decisions for you. But at the same time, I'm kind of responsible for doing this, and I have certain requirements that need to be met in my brain for me to, in good faith, provide you with
and sleep at night.
That too.
Yeah. Have you guys seen an increase in what we used to jokingly call the Warp Tour sleeves, where it's just basically just the forearm? Like they have nothing else tattooed but their forearms.
Those are a little more popular nowadays too. They're doing a lot of just elbow down.
Yeah, and anybody that gets sleeves these days, they all want to, instead of starting traditionally from up here and working down, everybody wants to start here and work up.
Yeah. Well,
but other than that,
it really
just
depends
want
on
what they want, and they want it now.
Yeah.
And tattooing was never meant to be a go process ever.
Right.
It was more of a lifelong process. Like a sleeve, a lot of times didn't. It took you a big span of your life to get it done.
Yeah.
Where now it's just go. It seems. I want my sleeve, and then I'm going to move on to my back, and they're just, which is
great,
exciting and cool, but it's a completely
different sleeved out
perspective of the tattoo.
And part of that is like the thing that people see the most is going to be your forearms.
Right.
Just a little bit of advice to the kids. You might want to save that space because your ideals and et cetera are going to change between the ages of 18 and 30.
The way I put it, it's high dollar real estate, right? If your body was a neighborhood or a town, that is by the golf course. That is the shoreline. That is everybody sees it. That is anybody who goes by your town. That represents your town. Yep. You want to get a duck sitting on a cube of cheese. Okay, cool, man, get it. But maybe...
Do you want to be that?
It's not on the form.
Do you want to be that guy or gal or whatever for the rest of your life? That's what I'm getting at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and people are looking at it as a sleeve, just go. Mm-hmm. I think if I grew up or it's fun doing the process. Yeah. I think you miss out a little bit on doing it that way, and it's fun, and it's not like you're not getting tattooed or getting a tattoo. You are. It's just the length of your arm.
Yeah.
But it takes a little bit of that process and that story out of it.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, like every tattoo I have, I've acquired over my travels, different conventions or shops or friends that I've worked or traveled with, or you know what I mean? And it's kind of a special occasion, and it's got a lot of meaning and history to the tattoo itself. And it's like collecting stickers. You don't just go to a shop and buy 5,000 stickers and then cover your whole skateboard with just those stickers.
Right.
Every time you go
one up at a concert, you pick one up.
Everywhere you've gone.
Wheels
everywhere you've gone and done something, you want like something from that. So you get like a sticker or a shirt.
And that's the steamer trunk method, like I've talked about, I think, in another show. Now more people are looking at it as the fashion.
Yeah. I want to get this sleeve done because it's aesthetically.
That has this and has that look, and it's more about that than the process and the journey of.
It's a change.
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
No, not at all. Not wrong.
No.
It's just being in the industry, you've kind of got to keep limber to those movements, and certain things are stuck in you for a little bit deeper than other things. So keeping up, it could come across as, well, they're being a judgmental douche. No, man, but give me a break. I've been trying
doing this
to,
longer than you've been
tread
thinking
this
about.
line, and and not getting in your way, but still keeping some sort of ethical.
You just jumped into the industry and the culture of tattoos, and we've been doing it for way longer, and we're trying to keep up with what you know of on the industry and the culture now.
Well, yeah.
Right,
So
yeah, because
maybe we're a little bit behind you, but you just jumped in. We're all trying to keep up. Members, right word.
Yeah, I mean, you learn to do something a certain way, and things change, and you've got to kind of readapt.
Yep.
Well, some things are quicker and easier to adapt.
Yeah.
Okay. Another question I know that's going to come up is where somebody brings in a design that you feel is either above your level or below your level. Have you, how do you handle that? Do you refuse it? Do you what have you? I know that, usually, like when I had tattoo artists working for me, I'm like, if anything comes in and you don't feel like you can do it comfortably, please refer them to someone else.
Right. Refer them to someone that you know that will do a good job at that.
Yeah, I think that's really smart for the artist to do. At this point, typically, I don't do that very often. There's usually, if there's something about the piece that I'm uncomfortable with translating or doing, we can work around it.
Part of what the consults are good for is explaining some of the things. Say, if it is above my pay grade, this is specifically what you want. I don't know. It's very rare. Yeah, it's very rare that I will turn something away and tell them to go to somebody else that I can't do. There's a few things maybe here and there, but even then, I'll find a suggestion of how I can make it work between me and them.
Because there's also
I had to go to somebody else too.
There's also the headbutting thing where you're like, that isn't going to work.
Right. Yeah.
That's going to look terrible, and it's going to look even worse in 5 or 6 years.
Right. And it's rare, but sometimes it'll happen to where, I'll be of that nature, and I'll look at it and go, no, that's not going to... it would take so long to explain really why. Yeah. But I mean, this, this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And then somewhere down the line, you'll see a tattoo that you're like, damn, someone could do it. Yeah. So I think that's the thing. If someone's only gonna or should only say, yeah, I can do this tattoo, but there are things in this tattoo that I'm gonna have to do in my mind, to make it work well, and that might not match what you're comfortable with. Yeah. But there may be someone out there that can do it the way you're thinking, but I'm not comfortable with that right now. Yeah. Right. So if you and the client can come together on, I'm cool with you changing that because, I think that would be even better, and everything else, great. You can come together and you come up with something great. Other times the client's like, okay, and and they'll shop around, maybe they'll think about it, blah blah blah. Maybe you see them again, maybe you don't. But usually you come together, especially if you've been in the game for a while. You've come across so many different things that you can usually make the person happy. But if there's reasons you can't, I don't, me coming from my 20 plus years and blah, 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 I don't recommend it, don't think it can be done. But that doesn't mean that there isn't some guy hiding out somewhere under a rock in Italy or France or somewhere who's doing this incredible things that just makes me want to run over all my tattoo equipment. So, yeah.
I mean, another thing would be over-cluttered.
Lower quality pieces. I'm thinking of Compose.
Oh, God.
Some tattoos, when they bring in their own drawings. Well, and they say, I want it exactly like this. It's like, are you sure? I can make this okay for you. I can make it good. I can make it okay.
I can make this really
I just don't really want to do the bad. And that's what you brought me.
That's another gray area.
Yeah, because you don't want to insult somebody else's work.
That, and who are you to say what's good or bad?
Yeah.
All you apply the tattoo.
A professional artist.
You apply the tattoo as well as you can, the best you can, the cleanest you can. Yeah. And give them what they want. But to us, we see it from an artistic standpoint to where, man, those lines are, if you just clean some things up, it would really look pro. Yeah. But some people, they don't have a third eye at all, and they don't see it as that. They see it as, my cousin drew it, or this means something. Yep. And to them, it could be a showstopper tattoo, and it wouldn't be any better to them as if you just gave them what they wanted.
Because my grandfather did this.
Yes, you're putting your name on it. It comes back to that. You're putting your name on it, so you want to do it really good because you don't want people to look at it and go, Jimmy did that? Yep. And that's going to happen, and you're kind of cringing when you're doing it, but you're stuck in that gray area of, do I say no because and kind of piss the person off and try to keep some sort of credibility in yourself, or you just bite your tongue, go, this is my job, this is what they want, this will make them happy, and do it.
That's what I go with.
It's a constant battle.
I wouldn't say I ever turn those ones down, it just answers Dave's second question of the quality. Which ones are too high? Which ones are too low that we might?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
occasionally.
I wouldn't turn them down though. So, I'll do it.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
fine.
But you guys have the impulse to put underneath that, like, art by.
right. Yeah.
Which may add to it, because usually, like, I have seen those, and usually it is kind of a tribute piece, or like their kid drew up a kite with a barn or some nonsense. Or not nonsense, whatever was cute for them at that point in time. So it has a special meaning to them, and that's what a tattoo's supposed to do. But at the same time, you know, I think your best clients are the ones that come in and go, hey, here's a reference. Please fix this.
Right.
You're an artist. You know what's going to work. What about the people that are like, I want a family tree, and I want 29 names on it, and I want it this big?
Yeah,
It's not going to happen. You're sticking 15 pounds in a 5-pound bag. and
Yeah.
that bag's going to rip.
You just try to explain to them that we're not working on canvas. We're working on a living organ that's constantly changing, moving, evolving, getting burnt and damaged and dry and wet.
Yep.
And so you've got to keep all that in mind. You know, a tattoo is going to change and age, and we've got to kind of plan for that, where that's not really taken into account with much other art in the degree it's taken with us.
Yeah.
So if you're going to a reputable person who's been doing it a long time, you really have to trust them that they are trying to do what's best for you, and not just going, okay, in a couple of years, or when it falls apart, your money's spent and I don't care.
Right.
You know, they're just trying to make sure that you get the best thing, the best product, the best tattoo. The best,
and it can last and hold up
Yeah.
and be, legible for
There's
as
no
long as
such thing as a
possible.
clear coat. They
So-
can't
No.
spray a
In
clear
that-
coat on there and protect it from everything.
In that case, you have to kind of meet in the middle. Like, okay, well, how big are you willing to go? Well, I want it up here on my shoulder. Okay, how many names are there? Well, there's 12 names. Okay, an oak tree with 12 names, about 2 beer coaster size. Okay, well, you know, if we try to cram all those names in there, there's not going to be room for anything else. You know, you're going to have all these names with a tree trying to peek out from behind it. You know, maybe we do some stones laying around the bottom that we have some initials in. You know, maybe we carve a couple more initials into the tree. Maybe we have a couple leaves kind of like they're falling kind of coming towards, so they can be bigger, kind of foreshortened. It'll create some depth, and we can put some initials in there.
Yeah.
That way you can have a beautiful tattoo, and it's not getting ruined by all these names.
Right.
If you want the full names, you're going to have to go with something a lot larger.
Yeah.
A chart.
So it's kind of
You gotta
meeting in that
compromise.
area instead
Yeah.
of just going, no, that's stupid. You're not going to be able to get all that in there.
Yeah.
You know what they're going for, right?
Right.
They
You gotta
want a
help
cool
them.
tree, and they want to represent their family.
Yeah.
Okay, so how can we really do that and get them excited about that, and not just shoot them down and make them think that their idea is dumb?
And it's kind of like the liar syndrome is what I call it. It's like, you know, somebody's telling you a story and you're like, and then it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's how you catch people that lie.
Right,
It's kind of like
right.
that with tattoos for a lot of people. They come up with an idea. It's like, well, I want a life preserver. And then it turns it out, but I want it orange, and I want to have, because that signifies this in my life. And I want to have a flower in the background. I want a dump truck. I want, because that's going to be about my dad.
Right, my huge
and then
truck,
and
yeah.
it just turns into
And a
this-
road sign with the street that I grew up on.
Yeah.
We've had 10 years to think about it, and all this shit that you've ever thought about that was cool, you start compiling into this one tattoo, and it's like, you're
Oh,
gonna need
and-
a
and a kitchen sink.
And as artists,
Okay, it's gonna
don't
be
you look at
backwards.
that and go, this is like 7 different tattoos. You just planned out a whole sleeve. Why don't we do that instead?
Well, and everybody would love to buy a car that's a truck, that's a semi, that's an RV,
Bulldozer.
that's a daily commuter, that's electric, that flies.
It cooks
That,
me
you know
dinner.
why that doesn't exist? Bad idea. Bad.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Spread
yeah,
it out a little bit.
It'll do everything okay, but it will never do any of it good.
never exactly. And and that happens sometimes when people kind of want to throw in their kids' names, so their wife is kind of okay with them getting this huge tattoo. You got to look at them and go, look, adding that isn't going to make your tattoo look better. It's not going to help your tattoo. It's only going to compromise it a little bit to try to fit it in there because it doesn't really belong, and you just kind of want it to be there. So just know that you're kind of trading off a bit. You could have a beautiful tattoo that's
Aesthetic.
centered around the name, and we can, make that name look great. Or you can have a really great looking tattoo that you're
put
not
them as
trying
an
to
afterthought.
cram a little thing in there afterwards. It can be done, but it's not generally a great idea because you're not making the tattoo look better with it. You're just kind of cramming it in there because of whatever.
And we kind of already touched on this, but there are conditions of the person that's coming in. Of course, if they're impaired in any way, shape, or form, as far as alcohol or marijuana or any of the other stuff, it will just make the experience worse. The other thing would be if they have any physical problems that may affect it, like diabetes. Problems of healing, blood clotting issues, all that stuff should be discussed with your physician before you get tattooed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess that kind of goes without saying, but we really didn't mention that enough. But that's really if we're gonna say no, it's more than likely gonna be
a medical reason,
something like that. Oh, you're pregnant. You know what? It's a 1 in a billion, but I'm.
Can't do it.
You hand me a gun and say point it at that baby, and there's only a 1 in a billion chance it's gonna go off. I ain't frickin' pointing that gun at that baby.
No way.
So, for what? So you can have a little tattoo? We'll wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway.
Because 9 life, you're going to have plenty of time after that.
Yeah.
The other thing would be if they're having medical procedures in the near future, if they're doing anything that's going to be altering the shape of their body, I would probably, if it's a vast, plastic surgery type thing.
Sure.
Right.
With piercing, I refuse to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it's it is. It's
kind of a
ethics.
snob.
Yeah, call me a snob. It partly comes from coming from the school that they tore down to build the old school when it comes to piercing, that you are not to do any type of harm if you're capable of doing it. If I think something is going to not work and leave a lot of scarring, then I'm not going to do it. If I'm going to do something and it's going to cause damage to other parts of your anatomy, I'm not going to do it. I had some kid, one of the comments I answered earlier, I guess it was yesterday, I got a snake eye piercing, which is the tip of the tongue, which everybody and their brothers told people that doesn't work. And they're asking me, well, what size balls do you suggest putting on it? I'm like, take the damn thing out. That's what I suggest. It's not, no matter how many different jewelry types you try, you still can't expand your tongue properly. And you're going to be constantly banging against your front teeth.
Smashing.
Like with tongue piercings, if that tendon on the underside goes too far forward and we're not going to be able to place it in a way that's going to avoid contact, I'm not going to do it. If your anatomy, like in an ear piercing, if there's not enough there to secure it properly, the jewelry, I'm not going to do it. But I'm going to suggest other options and other things to do. But yeah, that's mainly the piercing thing, is try to not do anything harmful.
Yeah.
And I think with the tattooing, it's the same way. If we feel like we're going to drastically change your life in a negative way, that's not what we're in the business to do.
Well, and I figure too, when someone comes in here, they're looking for a certain level, not only of work that they're going to get, but of responsibility.
And
like
expertise.
they trust us. Like they have a certain level of trust. So I want to make sure that their expectations meet my ability.
Yeah.
And so I can be comfortable knowing, okay, I know what this person is expecting, and I'm going to blow them away. Instead of going, well, I'm pretty sure I know what they want, and I'm going to do it like this.
Yeah.
Well, that's not always the best thing to do. But anyway, I think, when people come in here, we want to make sure that we can give them what they expect. So when someone does come in, we just want to make sure that that we are giving them what they're expecting, and that is an artist who's going to really try to understand what they want and be able to I try to exceed
Their
what they want.
expectations.
The best thing I can hear is, man, that looked better than I thought it was going to.
I love that.
Because I know when they come in here, they're expecting it to look really good.
Yeah.
So when they say that, that's what I'm shooting for. That's like job done, not like, hey, I did even better. No, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And I just want to be able, the more I'm sure that they're sure and comfortable with what I do and how I do it, then bang. So that's, so and if I can't do that, then I'm not your guy.
So one last question to cover. The asshole.
Yeah, buttholes.
Yeah, the people that come in are just rude and obnoxious and ugly to other people, especially other customers.
Yeah.
Those I've had a rule that if you're in my station and you are negative and you're making the experience worse for the person getting pierced, I don't care who you are. You're not coming back. You're out of that station. You're away from me. You're away
It's
from
been
the
a while
client.
for me that I've had anything like that. But
It's been a while for me too, especially
swear.
with COVID, because we have to reduce the amount of people that are in the studio. But yeah, it has come up in the past, and
seem
there's
to
some
remember-
clients that they want it their way, and they're not going
Yeah.
to listen to anything you have to say, which always is very frustrating because it's like, why are you coming to an expert and telling an expert how to do the job because you spent 10 minutes on the internet researching something?
It's that controlling kind of personality,
Yep.
the people that can't relax and let you do what you, I think it's in a way they don't trust themselves, you know? So if they don't trust that they made a good decision in coming to you, then they're going to have to police themselves like crazy and put you through hell to make sure that they didn't make this terrible decision. The people that are relaxed, confident, know that they made a good decision, know they're in the right place and trust you are the easiest, best people to work with, and they always get the best work. They're not putting up all these roadblocks and negativity and raising the stress level. And I totally try to avoid that. I can do such a better job when I'm relaxed, when we're having fun, and the process isn't this dictatorship or this tapping of the foot kind of thing. And man, you're gonna get way better work, a way better experience overall if you are confident and comfortable with the situation. And if you're not, it's just gonna make it difficult.
in my experience, and what I can think of more recently out the last couple of years, I think the asshole people are usually the wife or husband of the person getting tattooed.
It can be.
That's the one, or the parents of, or the grandparents. Are you sure you're doing that right? Maybe
Yeah,
we could do that a little bit better. No, maybe you could sit the fuck over there.
I've had that happen, and you just have to, in a nice but shut the fuck up way, say
Like,
shut the fuck up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And usually they'll get it, or you'll just see them not come around because they know that what they're doing, and they know that you got to do what you got to do, and it's just probably not a good idea that they should probably let you do what you got to do.
Basically, I think these people are raised by fathers like mine. That always watch the plumber work, because otherwise they're going to rip you off and they're going to do a shoddy job.
Yeah.
It's this mentality of I hired somebody
Yeah.
to do something that I don't know how to do, but I know how to do it better.
But I'm going to watch and make sure they do it right.
But that really ever shoots down a client or a tattoo. I wouldn't say it's never turned a tattoo away from me.
But
I've
I'm
never
sure
turned
people
a
are gonna
tattoo
ask.
away because of an asshole spouse or parent or anything like that. So
Right, it
I still
just-
always go through. It's just a hassle-some thing as we're thinking about.
What we're getting
Right.
at,
Tough-
people, is
tough
be careful
experiences.
who you invite along to get tattooed
Yeah.
or pierced.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
That's
you're
so
getting a
true.
big tattoo, it's not a lot of fun for the spectator.
Yeah.
It gets dull real
Everybody
quick.
thinks it's going to be fun, but it isn't.
It's not. We're boring. It's just us painting.
If it
our
was
love
that
off.
exciting, I'd be in you guys' stations all day
Right?
long watching
Exactly.
you get tattooed.
Well, and some people that come along, they look at it as you're a fixture of the process. You're not involved in the process.
Yeah.
Like you're just as important or matter as much as the chair that their friend is sitting
Yeah.
in getting the tattoo. So they'll just get right up in your business and just, act like you're just kind of not
There.
like
Yeah.
like anything could happen
Right.
and it will not affect anything that's going on. Like,
And
yeah, well.
I've only gotten that when doing piercing areas of the body that would be considered sexual, and it's the partner.
All right.
Like, you sure that's where you want to put that? Are you sure? I'm like, and the last time it happened to me, I looked over at the guy and I go, my hands weren't shaking before you started doing this. Now look at them.
Making me doubt myself, guy.
I'm like,
Right.
I don't need your input. I've been doing this for far longer than you've even been alive.
Yep.
Right.
Please sit down. Actually, you should be paying more attention to your partner.
Right.
Because she's freaking out the more you talk.
Yep. Yeah.
And the guy kind of went over and patted her head. And I'm like, okay, you're nice. Yeah, this relationship's got a lot of good things happening there.
Yeah, I can make it a lot.
So we beaten this one to death yet?
I think so.
I think so.
I think so too. Thank you everybody for watching. This is brought to you in part by Skin Kitchen Tattoo, the Axiom Body Piercing Studio, both located here in sort of
Sunny.
Des Moines, Iowa.
Mostly sunny.
Also, Deaf Before Decaf, even though she owes us some freaking
She does.
coffee.
Hey, lady, we need some coffee, man.
Yeah.
We're sick of the Folgers that we've been scraping off the floor in the break room.
Actually, there's a little dust down there. You get a good...
Yeah, well, it means we don't have to get
That's why
creamer.
I skipped the coffee today.
Dust kind of.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Adds a whole new level to it.
Yeah.
Please, if you enjoyed this and you are watching it on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up. If you're listening to this as our podcast version, please subscribe wherever you are listening to this. We hit over 750 downloads last week. So
Awesome.
somebody's
Yay.
listening to us.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank you
guys.
for doing that.
Super cool.
Also, if you're on YouTube, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you're notified every time we post something. And we post a lot of videos on piercing and tattooing. And
Tell your friends.
Yes.
Tell your friends about this. It's amazing how many people that I talk to in my chair that know about us and love us, and other people that are so oblivious.
Yeah. Do I have a what?
You a what?
Yeah.
I'm like, man, we have literally hours and hours and hours and hours
Of us
of
acting
information and
That's gonna make your life easier.
anything you'd want to
Yeah,
know.
totally.
You got like
about,
a year and a half into this too now, give or take.
Oh, we're 2
years in?
2 years.
Yes. We've been
Yeah,
doing just the tattoo updates. That's been over 2 years.
Yeah. Such
Yeah, I
a
actually had a client that's been watching the YouTube things and didn't know it was me until they showed up.
oh, funny.
That's awesome.
Oh, you're the
Oh, now I feel a lot more comfortable.
right on. But yeah, tell your friends about it because there might be somebody who hasn't heard about it.
And even though Wesley's the one oddball out not wearing merch today,
Yeah.
this is merch from our merch channel.
Yeah.
Our merch
You
store.
could be a what do they call that? A honorary chef.
An honorary chef here at the Skin Kitchen.
But yeah,
Check that out. There's various different designs. I think over a dozen of them. Every color you could possibly imagine in t-shirts, hoodies, tank tops because it's summertime.
Pants.
We have leggings. We have phone cases. You name it, it's on there.
tapestries,
Tapestries, throw pillows.
Skin Kitchen Bedazzle Gun, coming soon. Coming soon.
And we're working on maybe a couple new designs.
Always.
So,
So yeah,
till next time, here's hoping all your tattoos and piercings heal with ease and without a single issue. And if you're in the Des Moines, Iowa area, we hope to see you for your tattooing and body piercing needs in the future. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, everybody. Take care of one another and make the world a better place.
be nice to each other.
Later, guys.
Yeah. See ya.